on.
And we're live. We should be anyway.
Yeah, okay, cool. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
And you're jumping on. We will. We always struggle with this slight delay because although we can't see ourselves live in the group, we are live, but we're 15 seconds behind.
And we're just like, dum.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
If
Something
you are
that
coming on,
go on.
say hi. We need engagement, and it's been great the last 2 days, hasn't it?
Yes,
but we want people to say hello and give a shout out and
Right, we're in the group. I've just checked, so we are now.
We are live. That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. Do you know what? I had to chuckle to myself tonight. So I was like, you're just getting ready, just upstairs and just got changed and everything. And then I was like, putting some perfume on, and I'm thinking, why am I putting perfume on? They can't smell me.
I can smell you. You smell great.
Thanks.
You have to say that, yeah.
It's so funny the things we do, isn't it?
So I quickly had to rush to the shop, so I've literally walked in and pressed live. Let's go.
No more chewed up chargers then today.
But no, not again. That's it.
Lovely. Yeah. So have we?
Hey, we've got a comment. Let's have a look. My phone seems to be going slow tonight.
Mine has. I've just been
like yesterday. My phone is behind my computer.
It's Cameron Murphy. Hi, Cameron.
Hi, Cameron. Looks like you did a good job on Lauren's hair. Well done.
I've seen it, but
yes, Cameron is hairstylist in training.
I don't know if you can hear the horses in the background. Did you hear that?
No.
Sound like I've got the Shetlands sound like pigs. Crazy.
And look, I'm at the top of the screen tonight. I think you were at the top of the screen last night, Justina.
Was that?
You're heading it tonight.
Yeah, you got me on in charge. Yeah. I need to take on more responsibility.
So we're going to be talking tonight anyway, aren't we, about planning, action and success. And, the real key elements of planning stuff for your business and having those focused goals really for your business. So it's twofold. It's not just about your business, but it's why you're doing it and the connection to your personal goals as well. It's the whole thing in a sort of holistic way, isn't it? We're going to also be talking about having those goals and having that format set up is a really, really good way to sort of banish the procrastination that you can find yourself in, and also the periods of time when you doubt yourself, you doubt what you're doing, you doubt your plan, you doubt your abilities, but having those goals there to check back in on and other certain elements of it can really help you rid yourself of that and just keep you moving forward.
Yeah.
Then the DMO, the daily method of operation.
You know you want to say it.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that and the steps that a lot of entrepreneurs and successful business owners actually use on a daily basis to help keep themselves on track. And then we're also going to be talking about how you can make magic for your business, how you can really make magic for yourself, really talking about how you can get some power and some energy into all of those goals and get them into action and get that ultimately that success that you want. So shall we start off with the planning element?
Yay.
Absolutely.
Yay. So
let's do it.
Top tips, let's do it.
Okay, I'm going to jump in and say something here.
Yeah, go for it.
And for a good reason, because planning, I hate planning. I hate it. Right? I think we talked about this either last night or the night before.
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate it with a passion. I'm rubbish at it. I'm terrible at it. But I understand the absolute importance of having it done. And if that means getting help from someone to do your planning with you, then do it, right? 100%. Could be anyone in your business. It could be someone in your family. It could be, an upline. It could be cross line, whatever. But I think planning has to be done. That daily method of operation we talked about is crucial, but that has to be put in place once you've already decided what your goals are in 3 months, in 6 months, in 1 year, and just to work back from that. We did touch on this already, but just to work back from your goals. Okay, I want to earn X amount of dollars in 6 months' time. Okay, what does that mean for your business? What do you need to have in place to get to that? I need X number of customers or distributors or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what does that break down to on a monthly basis? What promotions do you need to get to? And then break it down further. What activity do I need to do? How many people do I need to talk to, etc.? That kind of thing on a daily basis, knowing that if I do that, and like we said already, you're going to have good days and bad days where you don't want to do anything. But as long as you do the consistent action every single day, it's like planting those seeds in a garden, they will flourish and come through. So that's, it's as simple as that, really. But getting it done is another thing.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's always a case of starting with the end in mind, isn't it? Like you said,
definitely.
Once you have your goals written down and you can, brainstorming those ideas and those goals and getting them down on paper is massive. Sometimes your initial goal writing session, if you like, can be, you might have 100 different goals on there that you want, or things that you want to achieve. But it's important to get all of those out of here and onto there, because, actually writing them down is a very powerful thing in itself. But then it really allows you, doesn't it, to go back through and to actually go, right, okay, well, that's not really relevant. That is really relevant. That is massively important to me. It helps you really sort the wheat from the chaff. And then once you've got those goals narrowed down into your main goals, then you can start to work back from that.
And I think it also links to what we've touched upon as well, is once you've got your plan in place, it can be adaptable and it can change, because you're starting to put the feelers out of what's working and what's not working. Once you then go through your first phase of planning and you've worked out what works, then you can be really clear on what your action plans are going to be for that day, like Fraser said, for that week, what activity you need to be putting in place in order to reach the sales that you're after.
And it's a very fluid thing as well, isn't it? It's almost like I can't think of the word off the top of my head now, but it is a very fluid thing. So you'll have those goals and those ultimate, the ultimate goals that you're working back from. But, on a weekly or monthly basis, you still need to be able to pivot and change. If something comes into that plan that maybe throws your existing plan out of the water, it's then how you can adapt and develop that into the next stage of your planning. And sometimes, to start with, you can find that really disconcerting when somebody throws a spanner in the works, and it could be like, rabbit in headlights, and you think your dog's joining in with that.
They love that. They agree with you.
They agree. You can find it disconcerting, but that's when the goals are also important to have them written down, and in a way that you can check back in on them on a daily basis, because that helps you stay on track when somebody, throws a spanner in the works, or something does. Because ultimately, when you're making your plan is all about your actions, isn't it? What you are going to do on a daily basis, but what you're not in control of is what other people are going to do.
You can't, you have to be adaptable for that.
Yeah, you can have influence on that, but you can't always have control on what's going on. And sometimes from a health perspective as well, you know, if you come across a health stumbling block of your own, you know, sometimes that can just throw spanners in the works.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a real good way that we'll share with you. I'll pop it in the group as a download for you, that you can actually start to format your goals and sort of bring them into a plan. And just getting that something for your business, because as well, it's not always about the financial plan, the financial goals, is it? For some people, it's more about contribution, self-worth, you know, all those other different elements as well. It's not always necessarily financial.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And I think if we're just as business owners, we're marketing. We're doing marketing.
Yeah.
We're advertising. If you're out there on social media, you're doing Facebook Lives or whatever you're doing for your business, for your brand, it is just kind of marketing.
Yeah.
And every company in the world does it, and Coca-Cola does it, and you know, Nestle does it, and they all do it. And when they start with marketing plans, with advertising budgets for particular campaigns, they do start with the end in mind. They absolutely say, okay, to the marketing agency, you know, here's $1 million. This is what we want to achieve by the end of it. And what happens then? The marketing machine kicks in, and it keeps on delivering that advertising every single day. It doesn't stop, right? When the numbers maybe don't add up, if the business isn't looking like they wanted it to look after 3 months, they don't suddenly say, well, let's stop running ads. They keep them going. And that's a good analogy to use in your own business. It's just a case of getting out there and marketing yourself and talking to people. And
it's like everything, though, you know, with SEO and keywords and everything, you have to find what things are working, what things are ranking, and if it's going to be something that's going to be, you know, placed and work for your business. Because sometimes, you know, doing your research is an absolute key thing. Seeing what other people are doing that are in the same industry as what you're doing, you know, reach out to them and see what's working if you feel you can, but also watch them. You know, it's really important to see what's out there, what's working, and then see how you can adapt it and work it to your own personality. I'm not saying copy.
No.
But just changing it to work for your personality and make it your own thing. But taking the ideas, you know, it's really important to do that.
Yeah, definitely. Working, you know, that element of working backwards as well, some people actually find quite challenging, I found, when they're doing their planning, because they almost think, well, I'm not there yet. Maybe I haven't achieved that yet. And maybe it seems completely impossible. Yeah. But that's where quite often, you know, coaches like ourselves come in, because we can, mindset. You know, we can help you with your mindset. We can help you say, right, okay, well, if that is what you want, then we can look back and go, right, okay, what sort of income are you getting at the moment? What are your products that you're selling that are strong? You know, where is the main income coming from your business, and how can we grow that? Because it's all about breaking down, like we've said every night so far, you know, doing more of what's working well, isn't it? And then also tapping into areas that are connected to it that you think hopefully they could work too. But sort of juggling all the spinning all the plates, isn't it, a little bit, to just keep it going. So sometimes people can find that, and that can be a little bit of a stalling point, I think, with people's plans, whether it's, you know, business or financial or personal plan, because, you know, sometimes it doesn't always seem real. And I know when we were in our network marketing business, we did, I think we all did, dream boards, didn't we? Yeah, and I don't know whether you guys still do them, do you?
I don't do it to the same extent at all as I did in the early days, but I just wanted to share with you my kind of massive kind of success from dream boards. So for me, I've explained, I think already, that I was teaching at the time. I had 3 children. I was single mom, and I was just struggling all the time for money. You know, time, everything. I just didn't have time to do anything. I had no spare second of my day. And then I started my network marketing, and I really wanted to just, I was really impatient, and I wanted to just get to my end goal. Now, my end goal was moving to Spain. I just never felt, I don't know, I didn't feel happy in England, and I used to go on holiday every year with my, like out to started off in France, but we started to come into Spain, and I just was dying to do it. And I put up on my dream board I literally just went on Google, and I Googled this hat that like Spanish houses. And yeah, so I Googled the dream board, things to put on my dream board, printed them up, put them on, and I had it right next to my fridge. Anyway, so I'm carrying on, doing my business, and eventually the time comes where I've earned the income that I said I wanted to achieve to get me to move forward to Spain. And I was brilliant, packing all my things. Get to Spain. I was first of all in this one house. It was like kind of, I was only staying there for I think it was originally 6 months, but it was shorter in the end, because I went to go and view a couple more houses, and I fell in love with this beautiful house. So got there, unpacked everything properly, pulled out my original dream board, and it was literally exactly the same as the house that I just moved into. And I was like literally gobsmacked, because we all, we know it. I know the importance of it and the visualization. I knew it was key, but until I saw that and I looked at it and I was like, that is crazy. It was literally the exact same picture.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, I did, I remember when we first did the dream board thing, I went into the range and I bought a massive frame, and I mean a big, tall frame, that you would normally have like lots of pictures set into it. I stripped it all out, and the sheet of paper that was behind it, I turned it around, and then everything that was, a goal or whatever went on that dream board. And I have still got it somewhere, because I stood it at the top of the stairs. So every time I went up to the stairs, I saw it. And I thought about this the other day, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to do another one of those, because I bumped into an old school friend as well, and she's a real whiz at doing dream boards and stuff. So I thought I'd invite her in one day to do a session in the group on dream boards. Because when I look back on that, there were so many elements of it. The places we went actually on holiday, and for anybody that knows me, holiday's a bit of a rarity these days.
Now I live in Spain. I don't go on holiday.
You don't go on holiday, no. The car. We went to Monaco. I got a new car. I got a new horse box, and some of the interesting bits to that, the things that didn't actually happen in that particular year have gone on and happened since then. And that's what I was thinking back to. I was thinking about some of the things that I wanted to do with the horses, some things I wanted to do with Exton, and all these different bits and bobs. They've actually still happened, but at a later date. I think it's all about putting those images into your head. And if you're repeatedly putting those images into your mind, eventually you're going to draw that to you. You're going to go out and seek it, and that's the thing. I thought I'd forgotten all about this house, but I must have had it there, because as soon as I saw the house, I literally didn't even walk all the way through. I mean, to be honest, my biggest selling point to a house is, does it have land for horses, and the stable's nice. And then I'm like, the house is all right, that'll do. But I hadn't realized how precise it was. And it just goes to show that having that fixed image and that clear vision in every aspect having that clear vision, having that plan in place, you're going to forward yourself to get there. It's going to just visualize it for yourself. And I think as well with the, we're all obviously into online digital stuff, and, you can create dream boards and mood boards in Pinterest and, God only knows what else. But I still think for a personal goals perspective, there's still great value in actually like doing what you said, Googling something, printing it off, cutting it out, sticking it down, put it in a physical thing that you see every day that is like slap bang in your face. You can't avoid it. So I think there's I
used to do it with numbers as well, actually. I used to do
numbers,
what income I wanted to achieve. So I used to do it, and I used to write it on my fridge because obviously it's like a whiteboard. Yeah. So I used to write the numbers on my fridge, and of course I go to the fridge quite often. Yeah. So I knew that I'd see it all the time, and I used to put the numbers that I wanted to achieve, and I pretty much to the T would always get it there. I'd always be able to achieve it. And again, it's something that I've got out the habit of practicing, but I think I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to test it. Yeah. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the number on my board, screenshot it, and then when it comes into my bank account, I'm going to go, there you go.
I like that. I think my mum will think I've gone completely bonkers because mum lives with us as well now if I write on the fridge, but there we go.
I think one of the most...
I put it in the fridge because that's where I go most of all.
Go on, Fraser, what are you going to say?
Yeah, for me, the most important time I'm more visualization than dream boards. But if you look at a dream board, it goes into your mind and you visualize it anyway. But I prefer to just, visualize exactly what I'm looking for. But not just visualize it, right? Think it, believe it. It's not good enough just to say, I want this. I would really love this.
I do more of that now.
You've got to just say, you've got to put yourself in the house, in the car, in the situation. You've got to imagine, not just, some people say, oh yeah, you've got to feel what the carpet feels like under your feet. You've got to feel like what happens when you open the window and you see the perfect view, whatever. I think it goes much deeper than that. I think you've got to feel the emotion inside you, what you're going to feel like in that situation. And the single most powerful time to do those exercises, I mean, there's never a bad time, but the best time I always found was going to bed at night, just as you close your eyes, visualize waking up in your perfect life. Now, I'm not in my perfect life yet, although I love my life. I love the journey. I love everything I've achieved so far, but it is a journey. It's never a destination. But I still believe that the act of doing those visualizations for years has brought me to where I am now and will take me forward again.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
When you do it at night, when you fall asleep at night, it goes into your subconscious mind and it tends to stay there for longer.
Yeah,
that's when I do most of my affirmations. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's not easy. It does take a little bit of effort and work to get into habit, because when you're absolutely worn out and you've done your daily battle of, kids and all the rest of it, and then you want to fall into bed, the last thing you want to do is just sit there for a few minutes, and do that sometimes. But it is so worth it in the end.
And I think you can almost link the two together, though. If you're really struggling with the idea of doing your affirmations at night and really getting clear on the feelings, like Fraser said, having the dream board as a start might be something you want to try and do. So that you can start visualizing it. I find myself, I don't need to have the dream board as up so much, because I've got into so much of a practice of it now. I can visualize it in my mind, and that can make it feel real for me. Like Fraser said, with your feet on the carpet, I can imagine that feeling. I can get to that point, but it can be difficult. It can be, your mind starts going off on other things. You start thinking about tomorrow, I've got to do this, and I've made sure I've sent that email, and so. So just having the visualization to start with is a really good starting point, so that you can keep using that picture.
Yeah.
And then that leads on to affirmations as well, which are great. If I guess most people watching this know what an affirmation is, but if you don't, it's just affirming to yourself that you're going to have something, or you've got it now, which is even more powerful.
Better,
and to put a date on it, right? So not to say on the 3rd of April 2020, I will have X amount of money and I will live in my... No, it is now the 20th of April 2020, and I am living in my dream life. I am in my dream job. I'm earning exactly the money I need to be earning. Money flows to me in abundance.
Really precise, yeah.
Being precise and being in the moment. Talking in the present tense. I can't emphasize how powerful that is. Look, most people know some of this stuff. Some people are new to it. We keep coming back to this, don't we? Mindset, belief, self-limiting beliefs. But dream boards are a great place to start. There's no question about it.
Yeah. And, you know, and again, it depends on the type of person you are as well, isn't it? You know, so it's a bit of trial and error to find out what works for you the most. You know, so like we said, you can start with a dream, but if anybody would like, actually, if anybody would like a dream board workshop, just pop a comment in the thread, because I can get my friend Gina, as I said, to come on and do a workshop with us, which, you know, would be great if there's enough people that are really interested in it. I'm sure she'd love to come and do it.
So type in workshop.
Yeah, type in workshop if you would like to do that. So we were talking a little bit about the financial plan as well, with regards to our planning aspect, you know, and working that back. But some people can easily pluck a number out of the sky and think, well, okay, this is what I want, and this is what I need. But it's more involved than that, isn't it? Because we know the elements of putting it out there to the universe, if you like, of what you want to receive. But there needs to be a good reason for the reason that you want that money and that abundance to flow to you. You know, it's not just a case of, oh, I want to be a millionaire. Although some people I've come across, you know, they commit to saying, well, I'm going to be a millionaire in X amount of time, and they pull it off. But, you know, there are more elements to it. So I always say to people with a financial plan is to, you know, if you've got a figure in mind that you want to be earning each month, and then you've got an income that you're achieving already, is to work out the steps that go between the 2 points. Because it's, if you're earning, you know, £2,000 a month, and your goal is to earn £30,000 a month, that's a big gap between the two, isn't it? And you need to have a strategy and a plan and a way of working towards those points and understanding what you can do to get from A to B, and not just think by having a dream board, saying your affirmations, putting it out there and everything else, that it's suddenly going to magically happen, and, you know, an extra 30 grand a month or whatever is going to suddenly appear. So those elements are really key, aren't they?
Yeah, did we cover already? I'm terrible at repeating myself, so forgive me if I do. Did we talk about stretch goals and minimum goals already?
No, we didn't actually. I meant to say about that earlier on, but yes, that's definitely something to talk about.
It's not for everybody, but that's what Jules, our coach, Justina, my first coach, I think it was your first coach, taught me when I was putting my goals together. He said, why not have two goals, a stretch goal and a minimum goal? And I said, what do you mean by that? And he explained it. And he said, well, you know, it's great to have a big goal. A big goal could be 15,000 per month in 6 months' time. But you have to have realistic goals as well. What would be the absolute minimum you would hope to be achieving in 6 months' time?
Yeah.
Those types of figures. And you could say, I'm just plucking numbers out there, but okay, 15, let's say 10. 10 could be a stretch goal, because 6 months' time, you know, it goes by like that. And your minimum goal would be, let's say, 2,000. And he taught me to absolutely do the work that's required to get to 10,000. But if you hit 2,000, well, great. You've hit your minimum goal. That's a success.
Yeah.
And he always believed that the likelihood was that you would fall somewhere in between those two. Because if you say to yourself, well, I want 2,000 as a minimum, that's just what I need, and that's going to solve my problems right now, well, it's not really enough to get you excited.
Yeah.
You know? So that have a think about that. The guys on the call here now tonight and watching the replay, have a think about that. And if you need more help with that, reach out to me or yourself, Justina, Danielle. I'm sure you could help with that too. It's straightforward enough. And you can kind of forward plan them 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, and really map it out. And you can tweak them as you go along.
Yeah,
you know?
Definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah,
it's good.
It's also good to look back on how your business is gone. I lost everyone a bit there, so I don't know if I'm repeating what Fraser said, so a massive apology. I did miss some of that. My connections decided to just cut me off right at the bit that I love most because I struggle with the planning. So I always try and listen to these bits. But no, I find something, you know, if you look back on how you said, I think this is what you were saying about, you know, your goal, you know, you're at 2000 or you're trying to achieve, you know, a bit more, having a look how you got to that first initial section, you know, how did you get there? So then it makes it easier to plan out how you're going to make that jump to the 10,000 a month. I don't know if I've...
Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. My dog is deciding to leave.
Always tweaking and adjusting and what worked, what didn't work. Okay, I hit my goal, I didn't hit my goal. What can I do differently? Here's the thing. What doesn't work, you know, you don't do it again. And what does work, you double down on it, right?
I think it's really important to take notes on every stage of what's worked, what hasn't worked, you know, because also some things that haven't worked might never not work again, you know, so it's always good to have a note of the strategy plan that you've had that's failed, but keep it somewhere as well that you think later on in your business you can adapt it and make it work better. I love having loads of notes everywhere. I'm terrible for it.
Yeah, me too. And I think the other point with that is when we're talking from a marketing perspective, you know, sometimes it's very easy, isn't it, to go, oh God, that didn't work, scrap that, and then try something different. But actually, it might just have been your message that needed tweaking. It might have been your graphic that wasn't quite right. It might have been the body of the copy that didn't quite right. It might be something that's not quite yet. Yeah, exactly. Or it might even be something, you know, and your thank you page or your landing page or something that just doesn't quite work right. So, you know, it's always interesting. I always find to get feedback from people on that too, because, you know, and you can run lots of different analytic softwares as well to see where people, you know, get to and stop, etc. Can't you?
That's such a good point. It really is. And I see this a lot in e-commerce. I don't want to kind of go off track and talk about e-commerce, but
there are some people that are in e-commerce as well. So yeah, it's relevant.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I see people sitting on winning products and they don't know how close they are to really striking gold. And the metrics don't really add up and they back off and they stop. And one of the, you know, without going into it in too much detail, because many people are not in e-commerce here, but like you talked about the text or the copy, you can do an advert copy, and I would always say try 3 different copies, because
change it 3.
The video can be the same, the product the same, the website landing page is the same, the price is the same, but it can just come down to the copy of the text, like get your product here or buy it now. And it can also come down to the first 3 seconds of the video. That's where you get people's attention. You've either got them or they're gone. People's attention span on average now in videos on Facebook is something like 7 seconds. Gone. And so if you don't capture them in that 7 seconds, you've lost it.
You're gone.
Yeah. And there's a big thing as well, isn't it? I mean, I was listening to somebody the other day, and she was talking about the hybrid brain. Do you know what the hybrid brain is?
Yeah, I got an idea,
and they're basically saying that now, you know, with our marketing and technology, you're not just talking about connecting to the human brain, you're also talking about connecting to the brain of the machine, as they call it. But basically the algorithm of whatever you're working on. So you've not only got to try and reach your customer, but you've also got to fathom out your way through the algorithm to make it, you know, sort of more visible and stuff, which can sound like overwhelming.
You know, definitely, that's the biggest thing that you face within online businesses, and I don't think people really take it seriously enough, because you've got to make it, it's got to work for people visually, it's got to look right, but in the same aspect, you've got to make sure you match it right for what Google, Facebook, everything, all these different platforms, it's got to match what their requirements, what their algorithm, it has to match what they want, but in a way that is going to be appealing to your clients, your customers, to your, you know, it's all matching that together, and it can be quite daunting, you know. It can, and you mentioned, you know, Google Analytics and going in and seeing where your traffic's coming from, you know, seeing what's working for you. It can all be too much information, so it's finding that clear kind of a path and vision. Once you've worked out where it's working, just stick to that one.
Yeah, I think it's just
And don't be overwhelmed by that either.
I was just interesting
scary.
actually, because one of the guys that I've been doing some work with on their social media, and they've just started to run some ads of their own. They're just testing, just starting to boost some organic posts that have worked well. But the new Facebook thing is now, isn't it, that pops up that says, just to remind you of Facebook's, how do they word it? Basically, Facebook's discrimination policy, and that even some, you have to really look back on it sometimes to think that actually, because they're saying, you've maybe not offered an equal opportunity to men or women, or people.
It's so difficult. Honestly, it's so difficult, and you have to keep so up to date with this stuff that it does get you. You just get you confused and lost. The thing with Facebook is that they actually do alert you on these things, which is a plus side. So it's a better platform to be working with. When it's Google, that you don't find that out until you're starting to lose some of the traffic coming through. They'll give you little nudges and stuff, but no, it's all a case of trial and error and working it and just keeping an eye on things.
Yeah, we did chuckle with this because we were both scratching our heads for a while, but the whole team were really, because it was for an equestrian product. It was for a horse-related thing. So we're thinking, how on earth can we be discriminating against one audience or another?
Male riders.
I think it was more discrimination against people that haven't got horses, and we were just just haven't got horses. I just thought, oh God, that's just going a step too far. It did make us chuckle. Yeah. And
again, things like that you do have to just ignore sometimes, because sometimes it is just silly, and it's just they're putting it out there as their algorithm. I mean, things like that you've just got to ignore. But like you said, you're scratching your head thinking, oh my God, what have I done wrong? Like, how do I fix this? And you can't.
But it could just be one single word in the whole of that advert that's just sparked that message off. It's a flagged up word, and then we know
there are a word like "you're."
Yeah.
A word like "you're," they don't like you directly talking to people like that. It can be so many. They don't often come out and tell you exactly what it is. You can get anyway. We're going a bit kind of into adverts and a bit deep for some people, but they don't make it easy for you.
No,
but you've got to be careful. But look, it's a bit in saying that, when you know what you're doing with Facebook ads, I talked about doubling down on your efforts when you know something's working. Mm-hmm. It's the best way to do it, because if you find a post on Facebook that is working, and you're getting lots of engagement, and you're getting leads and prospects and sign-ups or whatever from it, guess what? The beauty of Facebook is you can put a few dollars behind it, or pounds or euros or whatever, and you can boost it, and you can target people, and usually you don't have a problem if you know what you're doing. Don't jump in and do Facebook ads now, please, if you've not done them. That would be a bad idea. It is a minefield, but once you know how to do it, I love it. It's brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. It's the sweet sauce, isn't it? Once you get really going.
It can do damage as well. So listen to Fraser on that one.
Let's not get your ad account shut down, and worse than that, you're just going to lose a lot of money, right? You're just going to
absolutely, worse than that, like you said, and it will have a damaging effect on your page, or it's going to give you long-term struggle that you're going to have to fight your way back out again. So don't start it without any knowledge at all.
Yeah, definitely. So, daily method of operation. Dun, dun, dun. Now, there's lots of different ways out there, isn't there, and different things that people talk about. But, and we have sort of briefly touched on it yesterday with the sort of eat that frog sort of scenario. Yeah. But, Nick Pigeon is one of the big coaches that a lot of people follow. And she has her very definite blueprint for her morning. Tony Robbins is another person, he has a very specific blueprint for his morning. And a lot of us have the same thing. For me, definitely it's wake up, drink a big glass of water, and then it's a few minutes meditation. And then if I have a few minutes before I get harassed by children, dogs, or anything else, then it is most definitely to read a few pages to work on my personal development. And then it's sort of more into the plan of the actual day, so to speak. But what, I suppose we're looking at the both ends of the day. At the end of the previous day, I always like to plan what I've got going on for the next day. And I think that also helps my mindset become clearer for the next day. When I wake up, because I'm not just thinking, what have I got to do today? Oh my God, I've got so much stuff going on. It's complete chaos. I mean, we've all got
sometimes
really busy
that just
lives.
Happens anyway, but
if you've got that there, I think it actually helps you to go, all right, okay, we can just take this step by step. So,
I try and plan out my week ahead. So I start on perhaps a Sunday, or sometimes even on a Friday if I know I want to keep the weekend free. I'll try and plan out my week ahead so I know the tasks that need completing in that week. And then from the night before, I'll pick out, right, this is important, this is important, this is important. That's what's got to be achieved today. And again, like you said, I wake up, first thing I do is I sit up and I do my meditation, usually for around 15 minutes. I wish I had longer, but that's sadly all I've got. Before, first of all, actually, no, I'm lying. First of all, I let out the dogs. So I've got 4 puppies. So I literally, the first thing I do is let them out and leave them out for the 15 minutes while I get my peace. Otherwise, I wouldn't get my peace. And then, water, really important. It's so easy just to flick the kettle on. I was always that person that I'd wake up, kettle on, straight away coffee. For me now, my first thing that I do is I literally have a pint of water as soon as I wake up. And it's amazing if you keep that up for a long process, just how much your mind feels clearer. I know it sounds crazy, but water is so important for a clear mind. It's sorry, I've got a fly that keeps flying in my face, so I'm not going crazy. It's doing it again.
Danielle, it's so true. I don't want to bang on about water, but you've both said it. The first thing I do when I swing my legs over the bed in the morning, I'm like, half shut knife, not great in the morning, is I've got a glass of water at my bedside and it goes down the hatch. And sometimes, my daughter, my fiance would say to me, I can't drink all that water in the morning. Well, I used to be that guy. You've got to get used to it. And then I go down the stairs and I have another one, and I'm talking a big glass. I have 2, it's probably the best part of 2 pints. And within 10 minutes, I feel like a new man. And the other thing is,
your eyes feel brighter.
Yeah, this morning I forgot to have the second one because I was rushing out the door to take my daughter swimming. And I forgot. And about an hour later, I thought, don't feel great this morning, feel tired. And I remembered I haven't had my second glass of water. But the other thing about DMO, daily method of operation, someone called it today to me daily mode of operation, which I thought was quite cool. So that might confuse Christina.
Christina will remember it's that now.
A great thing that I learned in the last couple of years was taking a step back from your daily method of operation, your morning ritual, your planning, whatever it is at the end of the day before that is something called, now this is an American term, right? So forgive me, cleaning your grill. Like the barbecue grill?
I know what this is. I'm with you on this one. Totally.
Right. So if you were having a barbecue and you just left it at the end of the meal and you left it for a week or a month and then you had another barbecue, the grill was going to be
It's quite
disgusting,
Australian,
right?
that as well, actually.
Yeah, exactly. And imagine coming to a dirty barbecue and you're ready, all the food's ready and your grill's disgusting, right? It's not very pleasant. If you'd just taken 5 minutes to clean it the last time, it would be ready. Now, that's the same in work and business. If you leave stuff over till the next day and you sit down at your desk and you've got a list written out of all the stuff you've got to do, but you've still got stuff to tidy up from yesterday, you've got your numbers to do, your metrics, your emails, guess what? You're off to a bad start, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, take 5, 10, 15 minutes. It clogs your mind, exactly. And when you clean your grill at the end of the day, you can get up from your desk or whatever, and you can say, job done, that's it, time to put the feet up now. So that's really
it's
good.
like
Add that
grease.
into your
When you
DNA.
pull, if you've got that stuck in there, you can't clear your mind, and you can't then do the process of winding down properly in the evening either, because your mind is still stuck. There's still that stuff there that you know has not been completed. So it has a knock-on effect for your sleep, because your mind is still thinking about those tasks that need doing that you knew you didn't do from the day before. And then waking up, you're like, oh, I must do this. I find that, you know, if I've not done a task for whatever reason, I can't sleep properly. In fact, it happened to me last night. I'd remembered I hadn't sent this email, and I drafted it all out earlier, but then I did this, the call, and I thought I'll send it later. And I lay down in bed, I got, you know, comfortable, and suddenly I just couldn't clear it off my head. So I had to get up, go back, and literally just press send, because I couldn't relax then. I couldn't go through my process, and it would have had a knock-on effect. And it's a small thing as an email is all I had to do, but it's you know, it's having that, because I've got into the practice of doing that all the time now. It's become easier, but it's so important.
Good.
Does anybody in the group watching, do you have any processes that you use, or any format to your day? We'd like to know if you have any daily method of operation that you currently use at the beginning of the day, the end of the day, or what do you?
Or any tips that you can share as well, because there's so many different ways to do it. It's not, you know, a set way that works. It's just making sure that you have something in place that works for you, you know, and trialing out if the system doesn't work, change it a bit and see what works best for you. You know, you don't want to, if you don't have the ability to plan out your whole 2 weeks ahead or your month ahead or whatever, and you literally have to do it day by day, what sort of things do you find that works for you, and seeking that out and making sure you put it into practice, and be quite strict with yourself.
Yeah, we'll just give it a minute to see if anything comes up. And one of the things that I've just started using again, that I tried a while ago, I think we might have talked about this the other night as well, but when I tried it before, it just completely did my head in, and I just couldn't get on with it at all. But now I found it quite useful, and that's Trello.
Yeah, a similar one. I use Asana.
Oh yes, we did.
I have tried. You know, I've done that as well. But it's so important, because you've got it on your computer there with you. I get it on my phone as well.
Yeah.
You know, and it's handy because you've got it there with you all the time. You're able to access it, see what's working. Again, I've said I love colours, and I know Asana are really colourful and bright with that, and so that one really works with me. Seeing what tasks you can set. So because
it's all about balance, you know, the work-life balance as well, isn't it? Because you know, we have got all our tasks and things that we need to do in our business daily method of operation, but we've also got other commitments as well, and other things that need to be done. I mean, at our house at the moment, we've got a lot of work to do on it, and there's lots of things that are going wrong, and you know, the house is at that point in its age where things are starting to, you know, need to be replaced, things like that. And as these things crop up, you know, I'm just trying to introduce my other half, Ian, into Trello, because and my mum thought it was a brilliant idea, because
I love it.
Yeah, because Ian, bless him, because he's so busy in his job. You know, you can say, there's this needs doing, that needs fixing. He'd be like, yeah, I'll do that. But come the weekend, he's forgotten. It's gone. And then he's like, what did you say he's fixing?
What did we talk about?
You know, it's a knock-on effect. So it has every aspect on it, doesn't it?
And it's so rewarding to tick it off.
I've done all these things. Tamara's saying, in Thailand, we used a 10-point worth ethic. Listening to what you said, it's very similar in certain ways, but I've realised I've not applied to this myself since I'm back in the UK. That it's so easy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Slip out of the habit of some of these things. So it's good to just crack back on with it. And I bet Tamara, you'd be a really good person to speak to about meditations and stuff. I'd imagine. But I mean, the meditation aspect of it, a lot of people say to me, I really struggle with meditations, and I just couldn't ever do that. And I thought the same to start with. I really did, until I had my Reiki attunement, and the lady that I went to for that had a meditation group every couple of weeks. and it was always a guided meditation. And you know what? It just made such a difference. To well-being, mindset, focus, energy, health. You know, there's so that you can find a meditation now for anything, can't you?
Yeah. And guided meditations are a good kind of intro, you know, just a 10-minute thing and guide you through it. And remember, meditation is not about being a master or an expert at meditation. No. It's about the intention. It's about just trying it. And if you get a second of peace and, you know, something different from it, then it's worked. But just trying it, and you'll get better at it as time goes on. And we're not experts, but we're, you know.
No, not at all.
It is really good.
I think something that when I've worked with some other people to try and help them with meditation, something that I kind of started them off with would be thinking of it not so much. What people really struggle with is the sitting and being quiet and being still. Now, it's exactly the same sort of thing. Now, somebody that I was working with, his wife, was into this meditation, but she couldn't get settled, couldn't do it. But her husband was somebody who would be in the garden, and he'd do a lot of gardening. So he'd be out in the garden, and that's his peaceful time. And she was forcing herself to try and get herself in this meditated state. Yet he had it to a T, because he took his mind off all the other things and was just focusing on his garden. And that is all it really is. It's not a case of, sorry, the dogs are off now. It's not a case of, you know, fighting with yourself. It's just a case of letting go and focusing on something else. You know, guided meditations are brilliant for that. Or, you know, having the sound of something that can bring a kind of image to yourself. I used to listen to waterfalls, and I just used to kind of visualize myself being in that position, being there, and just really focusing. And your mind will go off. You know, you'll start thinking about other things, but as soon as you realize it, pull yourself back. And it will just be a case, that's all you need to keep doing, is keep pulling yourself back. And eventually you won't do that so much, and it will just, you'll stay in that space for a bit longer. But it's always something, you know, it's that is on itself is an ongoing task that you'll always be mastering, you know, unless you're a Buddha, or you're never going to get it completely to a T. Your mind is always going to be trying to pull you away from it. And
you can walk, right? You can, like you say, you can do the gardening, you can do something you enjoy, but even walking meditations are really powerful. Just quiet the mind. The mind's so busy. There's so much going on. And when you go to bed at night, don't look at your screen. Don't look at the TV. And what do I do at night? I tend to look at my screen, which is wrong. But so we're not experts here. We're constantly trying to better ourselves as well. I've learned something tonight from you, Justina, and I'm going to look at that tomorrow, which is Trello. Because I've never used that before, and that would be a tool that helps me. So not only are the guys on the call getting value from this, I hope, I'm sure, we are too.
Yeah, definitely.
You're constantly learning and developing, and that's great.
Yeah, and I
think that's important. Sorry, just
go on. Go on. I was just going to say.
I keep interrupting tonight.
That's all right.
I just have it, and I'm like, speak.
If you haven't tried any meditation before, YouTube is the best place to start to find some. You could just even, you know, if you feel like you want motivation, if you feel like you want focus, if you feel like you want energy, you know, I would literally start typing, if it was motivation meditation 10 minutes, you know, into YouTube, and you'll come up with a stack, and you can start to listen to a few and, you know, see what you connect with and what feels good for you.
I've got my yoga guru who I go and meet once a month. I'll post up a link of her stuff. Her YouTube channel is brilliant. It's really amazing.
That'd be brilliant. Thanks, Dan.
I pull back to her, so I make sure once a month I'm always in contact with her, because it's so easy to fall off it. You know, I've actually done a lot of courses on this, and then you go home and you practice it, and then your life gets mixed up, and you're like, oh, you know, I'm not in the practice of it anymore, and it's so easy to
back
lose
on the bandwagon, isn't it? And Abraham Hicks is if you like to sort of really get sort of deep into the psychology of stuff and things going on, they really, Abraham Hicks's wife, I've forgotten her name, she is, you know, she does speak very quickly, and she's very pow, but some of the stuff and you sort of, oh God, that really gets you thinking at a different level about things as well, which sometimes can be actually useful to help you to start to access other parts of your brain, essentially, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, for a better,
the power
for a
of
healthier you. Yeah, and a more powerful you as well. So yeah, so we, Tamara was just saying, we used setting goals as a main thing, and to stick to these goals no matter what, whether that was pouring concrete when we did construction, or whether it was sitting meditation, to remain true. To
the goals.
True to your word and the goals you set. Yeah, it is. It's a very valid point. So
definitely,
we'd be saying that, you know, end of the day procedure would be to sit down just for a few minutes, just to plan out your next day, briefly, and see what is going on. Check back over your goals.
Before you do that, clean your grill.
Tick off, yeah.
Clean your grill.
I take great pleasure in going through a sauna and literally ticking it all off. I'm like, done it, done it. And I feel great about myself, because I'm like, that's done. And when with the sauna, this little bird comes across the screen and I'm like,
If you had a job, right, if you went to an office or whatever, a place of work, and you had a job, you would have to do the task set out that day pretty much. You couldn't kind of just get up at 5 o'clock and say, oh, I'm going home now. Your boss might say, well, have you done everything on your, you know, that you need to do? Nah, I've probably done about half of it, but it's fine. I'll do it tomorrow, you know. I've
just got to show you this. I don't know whether you can see this. Hang on. Can you see this? My dog is on my desk.
I can't see it properly, no, but I can just about see it.
Yeah, she's so funny. She's just in front of me on the desk. She's got too hot on the chair. So cleaning your grill, ticking off those, making sure you've done those important jobs, UBS. Then obviously just you're going over your plan for the next day. A little meditation, or there's also some of the things that I do sometimes are the meditations that you can play. Is easier if you sleep by yourself, but you can put some of those on to just go to sleep to. It still has the same powerful effect.
Yeah, you don't have to call it meditation. Change the name, because often people are so scared of the word meditation, because they're like,
definitely.
And you don't have to be sat with your legs crossed in the lotus position with your, you know. If you want to just do it sat in a chair, try and keep your back straight. If you want to do it lying down, sometimes I do that, but I always fall asleep.
Lying down, I used to go to my yoga courses, and I've been, honestly, and I'm not a massive snorer, but as soon as she started doing that, she's like, lie down, get comfortable, gone. And I'd literally wake myself up through snoring, because I would be in such a state that, you know, I can hear myself and I can feel it, what's going on, but I just couldn't get myself up. It was so funny.
Oh my God, at least you weren't farting, Dan. You imagine it?
Oh, no.
That's so embarrassing.
Not going that far. Release everything. So it's actually a really good sign if that happens to you in a yoga class, because it is actually getting rid of toxins. So it hasn't happened yet, but we need to. It's good.
Yeah. I'll take your word for it then.
Love it. So we'll be talking about the critical elements. So in the morning, drink your big glass of water. The other part that very many entrepreneurs use is some short, sharp exercise, don't they? In the morning. I know Tony Robbins, he does like 10 minutes of like really,
it's like HIIT training.
Like HIIT training, and then he jumps into his like deep pools, doesn't he? It's like ice pools. It's almost like an ice bath.
I actually practiced that, not in the ice cold pool. I just jumped in the pool, literally. I do my training, I jump in the pool and do a couple of lengths, and it is so good. My only issue is that I've got the kids, and it's so difficult to fit that in my day with all the kids and the dogs and the animals, but it really does work. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Or even if it's like, you know, last year I bought a trampette thing, and that's in the garden, and you know, even if it's just literally running on the spot for like as long as you can, either 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it is, star jump, squats, anything, just something, just short, sharp, 5 to 10 minutes, boom, 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 boom. it's amazing how much more productive you can be for the rest of your day.
It's getting the blood pumped around your body. It's waking you up. It's getting you motivated. These are key aspects to having a successful day. If you wake up and you're feeling drained and you're feeling tired, it's really difficult to snap yourself out of that and get yourself motivated for the day. If you start, wake yourself up, get your blood pumped around your body, your brain is going to be, much more effective throughout the day. You're going to be able to move about better. You're going to be more sharp. So it's so important. I know it seems like an absolute drag, and everybody can find 10 minutes in their day just to do something. That was the biggest thing I used to find with people, is I don't have the time. 10 minutes, even 5 minutes, just doing something to get your heart pumping. As soon as you feel your heart pumping, that's a good sign, because it's working. It's getting the blood to every part of your body, and
ultimately really, it's getting stronger then, isn't it, every single day?
Yeah.
So that's a big key point to it.
Fitness is so important.
Yeah. So your mindset and your mantras, your affirmations, there's checking in with those goals. Whether you decide that doing that before you go to bed, or whether you want to check in on the first thing in the morning, experiment with which is the best time for you, which is more effective. And mantras. Dan, do you want to touch a little bit on mantras? Because I know not everybody on the call will probably know what they are, just to quickly sort of clarify what they are.
Hang on, I'm just reading. After Christmas, I got into a routine of getting up early and doing a quick exercise video, and it was definitely more productive. Then the kids cottoned on to me being up and starting, Well, to be honest, I will go into the mantras here, but this happens to me. What I used to sometimes do when that happens, I don't know if you can do this, I used to put on music, and it started because I did I don't know if anybody knows about the Bring Sally Up challenge, where you do the squat challenge to the music. Now, it's quite difficult, but I used to do that, and I involved the kids, and it became like a thing that we all did together in the morning, and that was quite fun.
I remember your videos about that.
Yeah. So I did the 100 squat challenge again, and it's all those little things. You can start with 30 squats in the morning, and then have your end goal to be in 100 or whatever you think you can do. I know it's not for everybody, but just finding something that works for that. Mantras, they're very similar to affirmations. With my mantras, I tend to write down some of my mantras. So I like to keep track of what I'm looking for, what I'm wanting to achieve. So I write down a lot of my mantras. I have them sometimes as my screensavers. So obviously, as soon as I'm going into my computer, I've got them visually there for me to connect with. So it's just things that you want. It's the same aspect as the affirmations. It's things that you want to achieve. Or what I tend to do with those is I don't have it as things that I want to achieve. I look at it as things that I've already achieved. I am powerful. I am at my fittest I can be. I am earning the money that I want to achieve. And I get quite specific. I always struggle with that word, specific. I get quite specific with the amount of money that I want to earn. And I literally, have that. I am earning this amount, X amount of money. Being really clear, but looking at it as a sense that you have already achieved it. If you put the message out there, I want, you're always going to be wanting it, and you're never going to get there. And it's having that image in your head of I want. You need to 100%. Really focus on you're there, you're in it, you're living it already, and it will come much quicker to you, and it's going to be something you're going to draw to you. So definitely look at it as something you've already achieved rather than a goal that you're wanting to get to.
Yeah, definitely.
Can't emphasize that enough.
Yeah. And then the next critical part of your DMO is obviously starting to work on the money side of things and the income side of things, isn't it? And doing those things that are going to be income producing activities.
Start with the jobs you don't want to do first.
Yeah,
and we've got something we can share with people, towards the end of this week, where we can help with that DMO and kind of lay out a basic structure for the day.
Yeah.
Because it's all very well learning and attending calls like this, and we talked about this already. You've got to take action. You've got to put it into action and talk to people. And what does that mean?
You've got to give yourself that commitment. You've got to to really put yourself out there and get committed to doing this. It's all very well, like Fraser said, jumping on a live training and you know, following something like this, but you really need to put those things into place, and you need to look at how you're going to get there, you know, and if you need help with that, or if you need, you know, some sort of guidance, that's what you need to then focus on doing.
Definitely. Cool. So are there any questions? Anybody any questions about what we were talking about? You know, or even if it's something that comes to you later on tomorrow or whatever, you know, you might be suddenly thinking, right, okay, how can I make this relevant for me in my business? Or, you know, how can I find time to do this? There can be lots of different questions that might start to fire up in your mind, but no question is a silly question, is it? So,
no, not at all. I'm the queen of silly questions, honestly. Sometimes even when I ask the question, as soon as I've asked it, I'm like, I know the answer to that already. But sometimes just getting it out there, it clears your mind. So even if you know, you ask the question and then you're like, actually, I know the answer. And then just having somebody to you know, refrain it back to you in a way that you can understand as well. It's there's no silly questions you can ask, literally.
Yeah.
I'm queen of that.
Probably something else we should just add as well. Well, we're on a point of well-being. Sleep is critical. We all know that. Well, you know, I've been, as most of you guys know, I've been the queen of working late nights. You know, my most productive time used to be sort of between 11 p.m. and 2 a.m. That was my my brain would just literally switch off. I know, but I did find it my most productive, and I could quite happily work those hours. But then, obviously, getting up and having a normal working day.
What time would you wake up then? If you went to bed at 2, when would you get up in the morning?
Well, I still have to be up at about 7 at the latest. So it's not sustainable long term.
It's not. No. I used to do that, and I used to work the nights, and I did it in the early days of my business in network marketing. And I got really quick success, and then I just flopped, and I literally, you know, I got so ill. I made myself mentally ill as well as physically ill. It was just so draining. And the thing is with sleep, it's very difficult for us to say you need, you know, you hear it all the time, you need 8 hours sleep. Everybody's completely different. You know, I know for myself, I need 6.5 hours, you know, minimum. If I get 6.5 hours sleep, that's perfect for me. You know, if I get more, bonus, but that is okay for me. So some people need more sleep, and you have to kind of listen to your body and know for yourself what works for you. So it's very easy for us to say 8 hours sleep is what everybody needs. It's not, you know, it's just finding out. It's listening to your body. It's so important, listening to your body. You know, also doing a bit of in the evening just before you go to bed. Another top tip is doing a bit of exercise. Now, I don't mean like we were saying in the morning, doing your 50 minutes really hardcore. Just doing a bit of stretching before you go to bed is so good for your body, and it also releases all those other endorphins that you need, you know, to relax and slow yourself down. Having a few little things like that I still really love to do a bit of stretching in the evening. So that's another one of my daily. Sorry, that just came to me halfway through my explanation.
Can't agree with you more. Listen to your body, and if anybody tells you you've got to sacrifice this and wake up early and go to bed late, well, if you can do it, fine.
Oh yes,
but you will burn out. It might be a month, it might be 6 months, might be 5 years. You will burn out. Got to listen to your body. Got to take care of yourself. I know that if I have a couple of late nights and a couple of early mornings,
there's going to be a point where you're going to drop.
It doesn't take me long to burn out. And maybe it's living in Spain, I need to go and have a siesta, but like I had to go and lie on the sofa today for 15 minutes and shut my eyes.
And that's what I find myself doing. Definitely.
You've got to look after yourself. And like you say, Danny, it's so crucial. Listen to your body. It doesn't lie. When you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated. When you've got a sore head,
often when you're hungry, when you know you've eaten enough throughout the day and you're hungry, that's often when you're thirsty. You know, when you just peckish, go for some water. You know, start with your water first. If after you've had enough water, then you still feel hungry, eat some more. I'm going off onto weight loss and everything here, but water again is so important for a clear mind. And it again, Fraser's right. It all links in together. If you've got a healthy body, you've got a healthy mind, you're going to get a healthy business. So, you know, really thinking of those things. And it's funny because the old corporate world was all about work, you know, keep driving, keep pushing, keep, you know, moving forward in your business, you know, do whatever it takes, stay up late, get up early. It's not sustainable, and it's not something that in this day and age you have to do. We've got reach here online to absolutely everybody. You don't have to be killing yourself to get your message out there. Done right, you literally just have to take care of yourself, take care of your body, take care of your mind, and your business will flow on that as well. Obviously, you've got to put into practice the things that you need to do, but if your mind's clear, those things are going to come a lot more simple. It's going to be easier for you to follow it through.
Yeah,
perfect.
definitely.
And that's the beauty of paid ads, for example. We'll go into that more another day.
But you're asleep
you go
that
to
time.
bed at night and your little Facebook ad is just popping up on people's screens all over the world, and you wake up to all these new notifications and sign-ups and, you know, potentially customers. And
exactly.
Because tomorrow you just target an area and get really focused on something while you're sleeping because you've left it to go.
Yeah,
that's how
Tamara's just said about for her, she'd say she likes the experience with the tools to market myself, especially the digital side of things, which is that, you know, that it's you've been away.
But that's common with a lot of people, even people that have been on an online business for a long time. You know, it changes all the time. You know, like we touched on, the algorithms are always changing. There's always a new tool that comes out that's going to help you with this, help you with A, help you with B. You know, there's always things out there. And again, that's also down to trial and error, what works for you, you know, going about. We've all got the same problems, and there's usually something out there to help you with each of those problems. So it's just knowing the right places and the right directions to look.
Yeah, and our plan, isn't it, as well for the group? Yeah, our plan as well for the group is to start to take people through these different things step by step, so you can get a good understanding of them and you know, just the things that are useful, you know, for your business, and you know, you can make the right decisions to sort of move forward with that. So so if there's, we've waffled on now for an extra 12 minutes. But if there isn't any more questions, we will sign off.
Cool.
Fabulous. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. I hope you've all got great value from it. Again, just to say, you know, just to remind you, if you're watching this back through on replay and you've got any questions, please just put replay and then ask the question. And obviously you can tag any of us in it as well.
Cool.
Sorry, that's my sound's back. My sound went, so I was staring at the screen, really like confused because I couldn't hear anyone. Sorry, it's back now.
What's happened?
Right,
I know.
Time for a bed.
My smile's back. I know. It's like I said, it's 11:15. I've got my pajamas back on, bed socks, ready for bed. Just gonna dive straight in.
A chamomile and a meditation.
Yeah, I'm going to go and have some water now and then go to bed myself. So. Lovely to see you all. I'll catch you all tomorrow.
Good night, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
See you later.
Bye.